Howdy, hi everyone. Welcome to the broadcast today. We're going to go through and go through many of the features of Kartra today. There have been a few people who have been interested in Kartra and want to learn more about it. I'm just going to set something up here. So share the screen. Let's see. So I'm just going to, one second here. I don't have everything quite set up yet. So I've been using Kartra for about 6 years. I was part of the beta test program. I've used it for myself and I've used it for many clients. And it can be a little bit overwhelming in the sense that it's like I sometimes describe it as like a container load of Lego parts, all sorts of things that you can put together and mix and match. Um, and it means there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of complexity, and part of the power is that they all fit together. So it's anyway here. Um, anyway, maybe you out there, a few of you have said hi, so I'm just going to say hi back here, and just let me know where you're tapping in from. Burke here, I know it's in California. Bonnie is in Merritt, and just let me know. And if you want to get into be in part of the broadcast, that's possible too. So I think, yeah. So I'm just going to put this. I'm just going to post this in the chat here, and if you want to jump in on board and be part of the conversation, you're welcome to. So I'm going to start here, and all right, make this mostly full screen. I can make a couple adjustments here, and there we go. Oh, where did it go? I've got two monitors here, and sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get get the mouse in the right spot. So here's my dashboard, and it has, the first thing it does is an overview of a bunch of things that have been happening regularly. So sales, recent sales, traffic here. I'm working on, I helped last year with a cancer benefit concert, Rocket Norton, and it's showing the traffic here. We're gearing up for another one in October coming up. And there's Bonnie's business card, right? And then there's a calendar system in here. We got a couple calendar things coming up. Bonnie's got an interview with somebody, and we do a Storyvan TV broadcast, something similar to this. We use StreamYard. We talk to people live, and yeah, here we are. So what do we? Kartra is basically a very sophisticated all-in-one business platform. Um, probably the strongest part of it is the ability to take payments, and it has. I sometimes say Kartra is in sort of a joke. This is not true. Not sure what they had in mind, but it's like an Indian goddess of commerce, and and you can see I have had a lot of different products that I've sold, course creation, all sorts of things. Um, a lot of products either for myself or for others. I've got this one product, is launch and support thing for Kartra kind of things. Anyway, it's one of the flexibility. I'm just gonna go run through here to show you what kind of things you can do. I think it's probably one of the strengths and probably one of the things that gets a little bit overwhelming with Kartra is because there are many options here. So right now I've got my Kartra account set up so I can take payments through PayPal or Stripe. There are about 3 or 4 other payment options you can integrate with it, but those are the 2 that I use. And here pricing here I've got this is 188 a month, and again, there are all sorts of options for changing it. So you can do a one-time payment, you can do a monthly retainer, you can do installments. And I have a client who is always calling me, and they want to do. They'll say, "So I got somebody who want to pay $1,000 now, and then they want to pay, $200 a month for 8 months, starting in 2 months." Um, it's amazing that we can accommodate almost any of those things. They're selling at least $1,000 a day with what they're doing, so it works out pretty well. And there's some coupons that allow you to uh, to configure that, give discounts of all sorts of things. And I'm just going to save that. I'm not going to make any changes with this. And here you can see this shipping cost. If you have something that's shipping, Kartra has a pretty robust shipping thing where you can set um, individual shipping costs for individual states, provinces, countries, sales tax, supports a range of sales tax. So it's really a pretty robust shopping cart system in the sense of taking the payments. Almost everything here, you have a sales page, a landing page, and then you have a thank you page. That's pretty much universal with any of the either opt-in forms or a sales page and sales funnel. So it's basically the simplest funnel you can have is a landing page with a button and a thank you page. Tons of things you can configure, lots of options, checkout fields. You can change this. You can ask for whatever information you want, and here the ones with the asterisks are mandatory, and then you can add new things. So it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing an intake form for a program, you could ask them a bunch of questions about what they're looking for, or maybe qualifying questions, not so much in a shopping cart, but in a form. And bumper offers, terms and conditions, all sorts of things, like just tons of stuff. Most of the time I'm not touching any of that stuff. Here, when somebody signed up, you can put them in a list. I probably have 100 lists on my account where I can put them. This one happens to go to Craig Dixon Writing. And then you put a tag in here, landing page retainer. And I give them access to a Kartra membership, which I'm going to talk about later. And automations here, there are all sorts of things you can do with an automation. If you get them to sign up for a big product, you can cancel their membership or add membership or do all sorts of things. If they're subscribed to a sequence, you can take that off the table or not. So it's just, you can get carried away with it, and and I've seen some really crazy stuff. So the next thing here is the next real strength of Kartra is almost everything you do in marketing. You want to capture their contact information, their email, phone number, any of that kind of thing. And Kartra has a big lead database. So basically, I've got, I don't know, quite a few thousand people in my collection for various things, some for client projects, some for my own projects. And if you once you're there, then you can send things like send a broadcast. Like today, I created a handpicked about 10 people I thought might want to come to this presentation. So I created a grand tour with Craig Dixon email that went out, and I sent it out just to those 10 people. There's a bunch of criteria like if they bought something, if they haven't bought something, if they've subscribed to a list, or if they've watched a video. There are all sorts of things that can trigger you can use to qualify who you send the email to. The other thing are sequences, and so these are basically a sequence is a series of emails. It could be anywhere from 1 to 10 or 100. So if somebody signed up for like this, we have a sensitive starship. That's a typo anyway. We moved this to a different account. This was just a practice thing. Sensitive Starseed Weekly Guide, and it's a series of 12 messages, and they go out once a week for 12 weeks, and they can be as long or as short as you need. You may subscribe to a few things where you get something every day from somebody. There's a thing in marketing is try till they buy or die. But most people are not that aggressive with their email, and they'll send out maybe one a week, but it gives you the option. And with everything in the communications to email, there's always it tries to Kartra follows all of the regulations for mailing. So there's always an unsubscribe button and an identifier, and pretty good stuff. I know some other people who use Kartra and have hundreds of thousands of people, and they mail tons of stuff. So they have they have a much bigger account than what I have. Pages, it basically is you can create. Kartra has a very robust page building system, and over the years, I've created hundreds and hundreds of pages for various other things. And what I'm working on today, I mentioned the cancer concert, and so let's see if we'll show it here. Yeah, right here. I'm just going to pop it up into the editor here. When you start an editor, there's a big tutorial to show you about a whole pile of things. I rarely read this, and if you have a Kartra account, I recommend that you not cancel it, that you just pay attention to it from time to time and see.
Burke is asking questions to show it. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So anyway, so here we have. This is the page we're loading on. We had a concert that we did last October, and we're going to do another concert this October coming up. We raised, I think, something like $300,000 with this benefit, and so here on the left-hand side, you can see a whole pile of components here. Let's see if you can see that. There's columns and headlines and text and buttons and all sorts of things. So an accordion, like there's just a lot of different components that you can put in here. This one here, this is just an image that I put in on top. And there's some text. That's also text. I put it in a box with a bit of a shaded background just so it can show up a little bit more. When you're viewing this page, the background scrolls, and here's an example of a button that you can link to almost anything. Like I don't know if you can see that. I think you can, yeah. So you can link to another page, which could be a Kartra page, or it could be another page, or it could be an opt-in for some other system. You can scroll within a page, download a file. This one here is an opt-in. We don't actually have the tickets for the concert ready yet, so people can opt in so that they can receive notices. We've had some people opt in already. You can pop up a video player, sound player, buy something, back to that Kartra thing, and a content box, all sorts of things. Affiliate sign up. One of the things I'm going to talk about today is that Kartra manages an affiliate system, so you can use that. Membership, if you have a online course or membership, you can probably pop up an access to it. Relatively new in Kartra world is a webinar. They have a sister company called the Webinar Jam, and you can do a full webinar. This I'm using StreamYard to do a bit of a broadcast. It's not quite the full webinar thing, but depending on how you got into this, it's similar. And then a Kartra calendar, which I use a lot, a survey, and yeah, and a link to what's up. That's new. That's probably new. So yeah, so and then here, when you're configuring it, this here I took a form and I just removed all the details and made it as simple as possible. Here's a video. You can embed video player here, and it's not going to play here, right? But that was basically a video of Rocket Norton's welcome speech for the concert last year. And anyway, this is things. So these pages can look as plain Jane or as complicated as you want. If we're going to do a new page, it has a whole pile of different things. Like there's a bunch of types here, like a squeeze page. It comes up with a bunch of templates, long sales page. Yeah, all really video sales page, all sorts of things. You can pick a style. I have a few things I tend to like to do. I for my music and art stuff, I have an approach, and then for a few of the other things, I'd have a different approach. I tend to build these things from scratch, but because what happens is any one of these things will generally have a bunch of things you don't know what it is, and you have to go back and edit it, which is okay. So it's at least a starting point. And some of these things look pretty good, so you can make it look pretty much any way you want. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about are forms. So a form is a way for people to sign up for your list. And so when they sign up for here, like for example, the one I talked about, the cancer notices. So there's an input form, and you can select what goes in there, what fields to include, and what you can select what happens. So somebody can sign up for something. They can end up on a download page. They can end up be subscribed to a sequence. They can get given access to a course or a membership area, and go for there. So it's very, very powerful, and you can either attach this to a button on a Kartra page, or you can generate text that basically is JavaScript that you can use to embed on WordPress or any other website. So one of the main reasons I use Kartra is because I like creating courses, online stuff, and I've done it for clients. Working with Jenny Lyron Starseed. She now has her own Kartra account, and so we're doing all this stuff in hers. But we started here, and then the Perfect Retirement Living with Margot Aerosmith, and back to Rocket Norton. I've got a thing called the Rocket Norton Vault, and that contains virtually all of the books that has written and published to date. Tons of video of various concerts. He was a drummer with Prism, which is a pretty major Vancouver band in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Various other bands, a couple of other projects, thing called Visions, Mission Andromeda, that performed in the Vancouver Planetarium numerous times. tons of photos from various things, tons of even he and I sold a course called How to Coach Baseball to Kids. That's all in the vote. Why don't we go take a look? Okay. I'm just going to skip the login here and just go in. So here we have it. There's some video in the first section there. There's various bands he was within. He started with Seeds of Time. And we've got the album and Visions, Mission Andromeda. I created, I got lucky. This is probably one of the best things I ever created. Yeah, Rocket asked me to come and take a photo, and I said, I don't have a really decent camera, and I came
I
down.
can't see only the login.
What's that?
I can't see any what you're talking about, only the login.
Oh, okay. Okay. Share this tab. Okay. Okay, there we go. My student audience and said you can't see it. So here we are. So here's inside the membership. And so anyway, this is basically a CD cover that I used it for it, and there's an audio player. So the whole and it was about 90 minutes long, and yeah, you got access to the entire album here. There were two versions. There was one that they did live, recorded live in the planetarium, and then there was another one they performed with the recorded with the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra. So here are the books. Lost in Space, Live, Love, Die. I've been helping publish those on Amazon, but yeah, the PDFs are all here. And then we have some concert video here from the last concert last year. There's excerpts and photos and all sorts of things from the last concert, and here's the how to coach baseball to kids. All it was a video series, and all the videos contained in here, and there will be more as we go along. So let's see, go back to StreamYard here. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to have to get back to my Kartra here. Where are we at? It's one of these tabs. I don't know if you have this problem. Too many tabs. Okay. So we've had, you can see I've had an awful lot of courses over the years, lots of Kartra courses, lots of course creation things over the years. This here webinar, this section here, let's see, share this tab here. I go back to the Kartra site here, and that we were just in memberships and now in webinars. It's very recent that Kartra added a feature from their sister company Webinar Jam to here. It's I don't know if you have any experience with Webinar Jam. It's a full webinar platform where you can do a presentation. You can have a any number. Right now, the version they put into Kartra, you can have up to 500 visitors, 500 people attending. I think sometimes many people will do a presentation in Zoom, and there's some other platforms that are probably better depending on what your format is. But this is pretty impressive that they've just added that one section. The only limitation from this version of webinars instead of Webinar Jam is you can only have one presenter. So if you have a team presenting it, it's not going to work for you. Here under the media, the other thing is up until a few weeks ago, there was videos, and they didn't have an integrated place to show all of your media. So I've got I use Kartra for presenting all sorts of video. Like you can upload and you can add various things here. It says tags, call to action, all sorts of stuff in the video. it was a feature I didn't really appreciate that much because you really had to compress it a lot to fit it in, and it wasn't that good. But I come to appreciate it. We did Rocket Norton. I did a series just with the camera in his in the out by where he lives, and he and Prison were indicted into the rock and roll Walk of Fame in Toronto, and that's coming up in September. So he had some questions they wanted him to submit. I did a piano recital recently, done a bunch of things for various clients. I've got lots of video in here, and what they've done recently is they've they've made it so they all the everything you ever use anywhere is now available for reuse in most places in the Kartra world. That wasn't always the case. You had to many places, like if you're composing an email to broadcast, you had to go upload things separately. Now basically everything it comes into one big shared media library, which is very handy. So this other thing here, calendars are, we use this a lot. So here's well, I've got a Note Investor calendar, various things. Bonnie and I had to do these Storyband TV interviews, and people will sign up, and I'll just see if I can get one here. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna load this in a window and try to remember to change the window so you can see what it is, and share this tab instead. And so here it gives you it's like Calendly or most of these calendar programs, and you have a date. If anything's black, then those are available, and it'll show you. We've severely restricted the time we do for these broadcasts, so they're not as many. We go to let's see. I'll go back to Kartra here. Share this tab again. If this load up, okay, let's load up my calendar, and we'll do the edit. And yeah, it looks like you can see it. This is similar. One of the strengths of Kartra and one of the things that people find overwhelming is there are tons and tons of options here. So there's a schedule. So here you can have, you can do everything from like you can sign up for a series of courses. You can sign up for all sorts of recurring things. I just really one at a time appointments. Here, when you're setting up your calendar, I've got it Monday to Friday at 10 a.m., Monday to Saturday at 11, and you have all these options. And you can enable and disable sections. Like if you're going on a vacation for August or something, you can make it so that you're not available at all in those times, and then you can have some block off specific dates. There's a lot of flexibility in your calendar, and you can also, if you sell services, this one's free, but you can make it paid. So basically, hook it up to a product page, and people need to pay in order to make an appointment. And I'm just going to go through. Let's say I'm going to just save this, and you can synchronize with the Google Calendar. Bonnie and I both have a shared Google Calendar that we can use, and you can try to get it internally, try to avoid double conflicts. Registration's free, time zone conversion, lots of options. success message. Basically, you can send out an email when somebody signs up, and reminders. You can set up reminders. Generally, I try to send 1 hour before and 1 day before. I find with all the calendar things, I usually try to connect with LinkedIn and send a note, because I've missed appointments and many other people have missed appointments because they just, for whatever it is, you get busy or forget. And now also, one of the things is sometimes if you have an automatic confirmation of an appointment, I've known people to um, not even see the appointment, right? And they just miss it completely. So it's one of these things you need a. It doesn't hurt to send out a note. With LinkedIn, I'll send out a note maybe an hour ahead of time, and it says, are we still on for a meeting? And it depends on what people communicate in different ways. Some people like text messages, some people use email. With email, there's increasing chance that you're going to get into the spam folder. Surveys here, this is a relatively new basically, if you've ever used Typeform or those ask style quizzes, it's a sort of a quiz, sort of a survey, sort of a mix of things. This, I'll see if I can get an example here. We do Betty, Roy, and I, with our total traffic and conversion, we have an online effectiveness review, and let's see if I get that loaded here. And share this tab. Okay, yeah, there, that's visible. So we do an evaluation of somebody's online presence, but we really encourage them to do this free review themselves, and we ask them what's their unique selling proposition, who your customer is, all these kinds of, very high level. Burke here's on here. He does this in huge depth with his business tools, but we just do get somebody to start thinking about their company, and your ideal customer, and then take a look at your online resources. Like, what are you using? LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, website, YouTube channel, other social media. We're kind of on the older side of things. Our bias is towards YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and a website. We basically always look at websites. And then here we're asking a bunch of questions, about your profile. And, do you have a good image? Are your services current? Anyway, you can create these surveys to be anything you want. Like there could be an intake form for your business. Like if you need to know a background about them before you meet with them for the first time, we find this really useful. If the people who book time to have a review, if they fill this out, we can take a look at all their responses, and we really have a pretty good, better idea of what they are. And then, of course, we're going to look ourselves, and then and just see what our assessment is. But it really helps if we know what somebody's assessment of their own business is, and then we just sort of follow that up. So here, they contact with the information, you fill out the form, and then finish the survey. And again, there are a bunch of options, generally a thank you page. If this, with the Node Investor University, they have a full exam, which is 40 questions. And at the end of it, they get their score and what their score is. This one doesn't do any scoring. It's not what it's intended for. It's basically to get feedback and go from there. So anyway, that's what that looks like. Let's go back to this tab here. And somehow I think I've jumped pages, but there we go. So help desks. So one of the things I find distinguishes a company that is the support system, and Kartra has a help desk system built in, and that's pretty well defined, and it involves you can have a wiki, like a small, like a frequently asked questions. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, let's take a look at one of these ones. My own have been not fully developed, but I've done some pretty advanced ones for clients. It's sort of like the landscaper's yard, right? Not always as well as it could be. So here, let's see what this looks like. Share this one here. So basically, we have some articles here about a variety of things. There's tickets, like if somebody can submit a problem ticket, ask a question, and go by email. As and here's you can submit a new ticket and log out. This one's pretty simple, but you can do everything. If you've got a paid membership, for example, people can check on their order status. They can cancel their subscription. They can change their credit card information. They can request a refund if they want, all sorts of things. And it's also capable of having either phone support, or you can have a live person talking. So it has enough power to support a fairly large operation. And like, again, I don't have anything that sophisticated here, but we have one with one of our clients is really quite much more elaborate here. But it's the kind of thing that even a simple okay, I'm going to just show you an example here of my own page here. Share this tab. This is just, I've got a very simple order page for things, and then here, again, it pops up. There's you can see. Let's see. Can you see it? Yeah, there's this person here. You can change the colors. You can have a person there or not a person, various styles, and then it pops up into the wiki system, and then the tickets, my orders, and so it happens to know that I register for everything I create. So there's all sorts of things, and here, like there, I could change my credit card information. All sorts of things there. So
Burke has a question.
okay. Yeah, so okay, Burke has a question here. What would you like? You want to copy the support contact for us to another site? Are you meaning, what would you like to do, Burke? Okay, I'm gonna just do let's see here. I'm gonna send you to so this is our sensitive Starseed School client, and can you see there? I'm gonna put this in the chat. I'm gonna post this, and you can see there we've got two things. One, we've got an exit pop, which basically if you try to leave the page, it will pop up a sign up for a sensitive starseed guide, and then there's the help, and the help desk there is fairly complete. Um, it allows people to, if they sign up for the membership, they can go and cancel or request a refund. We've just really started getting people buying into this week, really. But eventually, if you start getting hundreds or thousands of people in there, and they can manage a lot of the things themselves, then that can save you a lot of trouble. And of course, you know, you always want to be prepared and to help with people, because not everybody is wants to. they, people will call you and ask for help directly. Okay, so that's the help desk. Here's an area. This is relatively new. I don't know if you've ever developed insanely complex funnels using Funnelytics or something. This is this is a tool. I I just started playing with this. This isn't really something that I'm probably going to use very much. I use Funnelytics sometimes, but here's the funnel mapper. It tells you you can set up all sorts of things. You can map out your sales page, checkout, thank you, upsell, all that kind of thing. And like most things in in Kartra, there's an elaborate tutorial as you get into things. And again, it's worthwhile paying attention to these when you first go. And I always leave them. I don't get them to stop. I just click through them, and then once in a while go pay attention to it. Um, this this here is a lot of work, and there are other ways of doing this, so I tend not to use it, but it's there if you need to. So and related to this are campaigns. Where are we? Okay, there we go. Campaigns. So the couple of things, for one, is when Jenny got her own Kartra account, I took everything that um, I had created on my account, bundled it up into a campaign, and shipped it off to her campaign. So it's a really good way of moving things between accounts, and also they can be insanely complicated. Let's see here. View assets. Okay, so what I did, I included some videos, some pages, some tags, surveys, sequences, broadcasts, lists, forms, memberships, and products. And when I created this, I realized that even though we'd worked on her pages only for a short while, we had created a lot of things. There things. Kartra also has a ton of campaigns that they include with it, and they keep on adding more. So here's like here, real estate, property appraisal, financial advisor thing, a webinar, free book, all sorts of things, tons of stuff. And maybe we'll see website funnel. Let's see what we got there. View assets. So again, it has a bunch of pages, tracking links, lists, tags. So I find these a little bit overwhelming. Like you can, what I suggest is you can go look at these things, learn about how they structure, and then build it from scratch using Kartra, because what you'll end up is 100 components in like the consultant free video and call to nurture. You'll end up with too many things, and then you kind of forced into trying to, oh, it's included in the in the campaign, so I guess I need to do it. And for most people, it's too much. Yeah, it's kind of true of almost any funnel builder, funnel system. Is, sometimes simpler is better, and I suggest you start off with something fairly simple. I know Burke uses an email sequence, regular newsletter. Yeah, Burke asks, how do I assemble the components for building a funnel? Is there some kind of demo account so I can tour specifics? It's actually um, that's actually a bit of a tricky thing, is that you can sign up for a free account. Well, basically, Kartra has a 14-day trial for $1, and you can go in and experiment. I've created over the years. I've created videos. There's the simplest funnel that you can build, and something I do with my clients all the time, including I was on the connected with a client today, is you create a product so people can pay for something. You need a landing page, and then a success page, and then after that you generally want a welcome email, and then you could subscribe them to a sequence, uh, and that's sort of the basic funnel. Um, Again, it I'm available if you want to talk about a specific funnel. Talk about what the parts are and how to implement it. Um, do you If you yeah, um, try Kartra for the 14-day trial, you can get a sense of it. I just have to warn you that the reason I spend a lot of time working on other people's accounts is because it all seems sort of simple for them to start up, and then when they get going, they say, "Oh, it's overwhelming," which it can be overwhelming because there are so many parts, or it's just they have rather use their time for something else. So anyway, so Burke, maybe what we can make an appointment sometime, and we'll just say something, maybe something you're doing already, and we'll model it, and I'll show you how to do it with the Kartra way. It's very Most systems are pretty similar to what they do. Kartra has more than a few quirks, um, and we just see how that goes. It's astonishing what I have used for Kartra for clients over the years. Everything from a simple landing page to sell theater tickets, to demonstrations, to paying for things, all sorts of things. I'm just gonna click here. Is that okay? There we go. So one of the other powers of Kartra is it does almost everything you need to know out of the box. But if there's something more that you need, it can integrate with a lot of different things. Like I use Stripe and PayPal for my payment, and right here I've got the reason I've got more than one Stripe thing is because if I'm hosting a website for a client, we'll hook it up to their Stripe, so they get the money, not me. So, and Twilio is SMS for text messaging. I use that sometimes where people can sign up to get notices about things and send out a text message. Works pretty well. A member is another membership thing. Authorized, Net, Braintree, they're all payment processes. I don't know much about digital access. There's another mail system, Kajabi, so you can integrate it with Kajabi. I would say if you're familiar with Kajabi, many of the features of Kajabi and Kartra are similar. Mailgun, optimized press, various things, lots of things. And Square, that's another payment processing, very good. SendGrid's a pretty good email. Um, I My colleague Roy uses SendGrid. Kartra is a little bit fussy about mailing. Like if you bring in a list, it's going to ask you a lot of questions if you're importing a list, and it's also going to be very careful about sending out things. So it's going to, if there's somebody has a hard bounce or they've got a questionable reputation, whatever, it may not send things out. So Roy uses SendGrid because SendGrid's not as fussy for sending out emails. Um, anyway, and Vonage, that's relatively new. That's an SMS, and wish list, all sorts of things. And if you can't find something that connects, you can use Zapier to connect to almost everything else. So Kartra has an API for itself. You can do some programming and connect with it in that way. And then also Zoom. Recently, they added, if you're doing your calendar, if you're making calendar appointments and doing it with Zoom, it will automatically generate a Zoom room and include in the meeting. I think some Calendly and some of the other features have done that. I tend not to use it, but it's there. And then here, um, agency. This is the one thing that I makes this really easy for me to manage a bunch of other people's Kartra accounts. Is I can do an agency connection to their account, and then I can log in. Like for example, I can log into Ginny's account here, and so right now this it's as though I was logged into her account, and we can see her traffic and statistics, and all the like the membership will be her sensitive starseed school and the pages. So she's relatively new. I think she's been a member for about a month here, so hers doesn't have the 10,000 items like mine, and I think there's only really two versions of the sign in for the starseed guide. She hasn't done a webinar. um, it's kind of funny, this whole feature with this integrated media center didn't exist the day before she signed up, so she's never known anything different to this. And again, so there, and then that's true of so I've over the years I've had probably about 10 different Kartra clients I've supported using this. And yeah, I have one client, this is the Node Investor University, and they put some money through their account. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions? And maybe I did put a link if you want to come on. I don't know if who's still there. Burke, if you want to come on. Oh, analytics. Okay, there we go. The analytics are just simply insane. So here, okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. Okay. So here's on the products page, analytics, and you can do sales analytics. So basically, what your sales have been over the last while. You can do all products, or you can do something specific, like whatever, and then you can do 30 days or all time. Tons. You get a pretty good summary. So any one product, you can do that. The same with the pages. You can do, let's say, analytics for conversions. I'm going to choose, let's see. The Rocket Norton pages here, all pages for 30 days. You can see we've been gradually gearing up for another concert, so the traffic is going up all time. So at one time last year, that's right during the concert when we were promoting the F Cancer concert last October. You can see we had like 3,500 visitors, and we haven't really done anything, but that's going to gear up. So over the next summer, hopefully this is going to curve up, and we'll get a lot more. So there's all sorts of things. And this is a bit hazardous. Can you see there? Okay, we've got let's see here. Let's okay. Let's find me. So this is a lead list. I'm gonna. Let's see. Of course, you can see I've signed up for tons of stuff, testing everything. So let's see what. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Burke is asking about subscription analytics. I just want to finish showing this here. Where's my? Oh, I got more than. I've got more than 20 versions of myself here.
Subscription analytics.
Yeah. So here, let's see here. There we go. So this is my lead record, and it will show you there's a log here, basically everything I've ever done since the beginning of time, and which is an awful lot. Let's see. Let's see. Do you have? Well, these are all the lists that I subscribe to. Most people will be on one or two lists, memberships, right? Here I have a member of almost everything, and here, for example, I can pause. If I want to take somebody out of a membership, I can press the pause button, and if they've forgotten their login information, I can send the login. So really, you can do a lot. Surveys, what surveys have done, calendar appointments, all those kinds of things, and orders here. So everything they've ever bought. So you can see I've got a whole pile of things I bought for $1, or these are all test items. So Burke was asking about subscriptions. So here, let's see, under forms, analytics, where do we have here? Okay, so there we go. How many visitors and how many subscriptions we have. So we have a download for Indigo Sky, and we've had this, that's relatively recent. And cancer notices we've had in the last basically 30 days. It's really in the last week where we've had 9 people have signed up to get notices for the concert. 1 yesterday, today. So you can track you can track how many people are visiting your pages, how many people are signing up for stuff, how many people are buying things. Quite a lot. So and a scary amount for any for individuals. So here, okay, right here we got cancer notices. You click on there, and then we can see the people who have signed up for these, right? So there's me. I signed up for it myself because I always sign up for everything. And yeah, probably you should get out of there for privacy reasons. So any other, it's a subscription duration trend. So yeah, I guess let's see. Forms. I wonder if you can analytics. Oops, page is already open. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure if you can see the cancellations here, but you can with orders. You can track. Let's see if we can go into sales analytics. Let's see if we can see. Like on the sales here, you can get refunds. Okay, there we go. On the sales, you can track revenue and you can track refund requests and cancellations. So, so you can see that kind of information, revenue and profit and visitors. Oh, that's not showing. Okay. Yeah, so there's quite a lot. I don't know if you noticed when I was showing a profile. Let's see if go back to my lead here. Go back to me. Go back to way down at the bottom here, right? So part of this is this is how much money I've paid to myself testing $251. If we were to go into the Node Investor University or some of the other ones, it might be $10,000 or $20,000 that somebody spent over the lifetime of being involved in various programs. So, and there's a lead score here. You can, from CRM point of view, there are automations where if somebody's signed up for something, if somebody's watched a video, whatever, you can add something to their score, and you can manually assign it. All these tags here, you can remove the tags, add tags, manually add them to lists, change a bunch of things, and also many of the forms allow to have custom forms here. So this one, for me, since I've tested almost everything, I'm going to have tons of stuff listed in custom forms. And yeah. Anyway, so that's me. And any other questions, Burke? What else would you like to see? So let's see. Yeah, it's really, I would say, more the tracking is for paid items here. Here's the thing here, self-billing. So you can configure in order to allow people to do things like download their invoice. I think right now I've got it set up so when your subscription renews, you automatically get an email with the invoice attached, and you can allow them to update their own credit card. I know from the Node Investor University and to some degree with myself, it's an issue of people's credit cards expire or they want to change credit cards. Um, and I allow people to request a refund and allow to cancel a subscription so people can do it on their own. And there's self-billing page here. Let's just load that up and see what that looks like. So if a client wants to change their credit card, for example, you can send them this link. And the tricky part here is you need your email and it has to be the email they use to sign up. Like that's where people get hung up is, many of us have more than one email addresses and we forget what we signed up for something. So if I'm going to send this to a client, like I do this for the Node University, I'll track down their order ID, get their order ID, and I'll send them a little email saying, here's the link to change your credit card. Here's the email you used, and here's your order ID, and go from there, and then locate your order, and then let's see if I can find. Yeah, I don't even have anything. It's a little tricky. They have a lot of the clients themselves will have all of this available to them, but it may have been in an email that was sent to them a long time ago. So if I'll go try to track it down, um, find that information and make sure they can get it. So those are the options. And here's automated versus manual. I've got it set up to manual, but with a couple of clients, we've got it to be automatic. And what happens is that's within the last billing period. So one of the options when you're setting up um, a product is you specify what the refund period is. So it defaults to 30 days. So if you set it up for automatic, you can get them to just request a refund for 30 days. So if they've got where that's useful, if you got somebody's got a monthly subscription and they wanted to cancel, but they forgot until they got the bill, so they can just go and ask for the refund. So how would this interact with the WordPress site? So I'm going to, there are two things. One, WordPress has two plugins that you can use. One is called Blank Slate, and the other one is called KCTPS. There's a very high-end Kartra consultant who has created some power tools for Kartra, and there's a plugin so you can integrate a page into WordPress. And I'm just going to a prime example of that is our total traffic and conversion here. So I'm going to share this tab instead. So here, for the most part, this is a standard WordPress website, and I like WordPress because we like to blog. Betty writes a lot, I write a lot. We like to post a lot. It's part of our philosophy with total traffic and conversion. So, but we do offer some programs. This is one. This is something Betty and I put together to help supercharge your presentation. So this point here, this is a Kartra page embedded into the WordPress site. And this is, maybe over cluttered for some points of view, but basically you're in Kartra world when you're here. Everything behaves as though it's in Kartra. If you do an order page here, like the sign up to pay for it. I guess we don't have any discount coupons. Normally, if there was a discount coupon ready here, it would have a field for a discount coupon, but apparently it's not there. So I'm just going to go back, and then we'll just go back to total traffic and conversion. Our online effectiveness thing, Roy DeCan and I started doing this on our own, and then we've added Betty into it, and we have that the thing that says the self-review is people can click on here, but this page again is all Kartra world. So we've got a pretty good blend of Kartra and WordPress, and actually being cheap. If I setting something up and want to use Kartra without necessarily paying for mapping the domain and paying a monthly fee for the domain, I'll use WordPress, and then always you have the option to get back and do the blogging, which Betty and I need to join a 12-step program about that. So here's how would the page analytics work on a WordPress page. So the WordPress tracks all of its own analytics for all the pages, and including the page that embeds the WordPress. So basically WordPress, I use there are a couple of plugins that you can use and options for getting statistics in WordPress. and your server. So it can tell you who visited what page. But once they get into, for example, let's see, what's in the course lodge. Okay, so right here, Kartra will register this as a page view. And if I sign up for something, if I pay for something or book a meeting, all of those statistics go through Kartra, because at this point, Kartra doesn't even know this is embedded into a WordPress site. So you would end up with two sets of analytics. There's really the WordPress analytics won't know anything about what people did on the page. All they will know is that they registered on a page. This approach is actually it's almost the model I use for a client. It's a combination between WordPress and Kartra. Kartra does a lot of things great, but there's no search. So it's you can make gorgeous pages with Kartra, but the fact that there's no search really makes it not practical for any kind of complex website. So the search thing in itself. So really, if I'm going to create a website, it's really going to be relatively simple in Kartra, or individual landing pages, or I might do something. I'm just going to show you the Rocket Norton. And share this tab and said, and this is really, I would call this is what some people call a microsite. So there's a section here, the first introductory section, and then I got a section about the Rocket Norton Vault that I mentioned earlier, and then there's the Sonatina di Norton. That's what Rocket did that during the concert, and then I've collected here all sorts of videos related to Prism over the years, just as a section, and then some images, and then there's the Rocket Norton Lost in Space. Up until recently, you could buy the physical book. I don't have it handy. We're sold out here, and we're in the middle of discussing what to do next. I've sold the last copy of the printed book twice for a premium, and we'll probably order some more for the next concert. We ran into a problem trying to get it onto Amazon, because Amazon thinks another company has the rights to it, because he paid another company to try to get it on Amazon. They never really got it on properly, but it's kind of a bit of a thing. But here I've been helped him get his Torch book on there. It's again, everything, all these books are all available in the Rocket Norton Vault as PDFs, downloadable, readable things, but you can also order on Amazon. And yeah. And then here, this is the Mission Andromeda. I've got a section here. We put it at one time, you could order. We were selling the audio recordings, and there's also, it's available on CD Baby as a streamable, and people have purchased it. CD Baby, if you don't know, will stream things like when you're setting it up, it says everywhere that pays, which could be Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, and about 20 or 30 other things that I'd never heard of. And then it keeps track of everything, and it gives you a percentage. And then once in a while they give you amass enough money to where you can they'll send you a check, send you the money. And this is how to coach baseball to kids. And then Rocket wrote this book called The Real Greatest Baseball Team. There's a long story to that. And then recently, many of the former members of Prism got together and performed under the name The Authentics. And here's a pretty good video I Not sure you can hear it. Anyway, so we've yeah, again, that's all available on the Rocket Norton thing, and we had a website. I think there we go. There's more information about the Authentic Sarah website. So that's where am I at? Okay, I've lost my I've lost my page here. Okay, back to Kartra here. So any more questions, Burke or anyone? What else would you like to know? I just my thing is there so many components to Kartra and ways of interacting. You were asking about the analytics, and I think that's one of the powers of Kartra is that almost everything is tracked. You know, like you can even in the video section, let's go in the media here, analytics for that. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So these are the video interactions. You know, how many visitors you had, how many plays, how many people actually completed watching whatever it was, average watch time, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, and let's see. Oh, I'm gonna one more thing. Where are we at? There's a thing called automations. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which tab it's on. Okay. Split test. Okay. It's moved. Anyway, I have to find it. Anyway, there's a thing called an automation. I'll just go through. Okay, let's go. Let's for fun. Let's go through. Um, a form. Okay, there we go. Let's do. Rocket Norton. Let's see. Okay. Well, that's we're still on the page. I need to be in forms here. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at, oh, notices right here. Okay. So if we go through and there's the automations here. Like here, it's got this is set up to add a tag, subscribe to a list. But there's this thing called advanced automations, and there are all sorts of things. Like if lead fills out this form, and then and then there can be what the heck. Well, here, like it's you signs out a form and they bought a product. This is actually, and then I think there's some video stuff too. Uh, Lead has played a video. Okay, so one of those videos that we did earlier, and let's say, since we're in the Rocket Norton one, we'll just go Rocket Norton, and they played, let's say Okay, this one here. So basically, if they've filled out the form and they've watched the video, then there are a whole pile of activities you can do. Subscribe, add, subscribe. So you can basically, by the act of watching a video, there are automations you can attach to the video. So you can subscribe to something and maybe send them an email or give points right there. That's a really good thing. I showed earlier that you can do the points, and you can give points from a customer rating or a prospect rating kind of thing. Register for a webinar, unsubscribe, all sorts of refund, order, cancel subscription. Like this is just really, and you can have a whole pile of things. Like you can have 10 different things you did just because somebody watched the video. Um, you can get totally carried away with this, but it's there. If that's the kind of thing you want to do, if you want to really customize somebody's experience moving through your sales funnel in your system, you can. Um, and that's one of the reasons why all these, like here, even just creating a form, right? Like this could be, I'm sure there's some systems where it gives you a one page where you fill in two or three pieces of information and it's ready to go. And some people like that, the simplicity. But if you ever want to do anything more complex, then this has got all the complexity you could ever want. So again, I guess Burke or anybody else there, you have any more questions? Anything you want to discuss? And if you want to jump on into the studio here, just say yes, and I can send you a link, and we can have a chat live. So let's see, stop sharing. There we go. An hour and 20 minutes already. And I have to say, there's probably any one of these features you could probably spend an hour on. I had a meeting with 2 clients about various things, and we allocated an hour to go deal with it. So it's one of these things. If you want something simple, like an easy button, and you push a button and you're done in 10 minutes, well, I don't think there's a system that could actually help you with that. But Kartra is certainly not that. But if you want something that's going to provide the tracking information you need, provide the flexibility for pricing and mixing and matching stuff, even the membership area, like I just showed you some audio and video, but you can embed exams and quizzes, surveys, all sorts of other things. You can download stuff. You can send links. And then if Kartra doesn't supply it, you can embed HTML code. And so you can embed anything you need in those pages. So it's really pretty powerful. Highly unlikely that you're going to outgrow it. Maybe it's something more than you need at the moment. But if you're going to look at a platform, I would keep it in mind for something to try. I started with, I was part of the beta test program with Andy Jenkins and Mike Filsame when they launched the thing. Then I did affiliate promotions of it for a while. Then I eventually started using my own account. It probably took me almost a year from the time I started paying for it to come up with some useful things to do with it. And right now, probably we use it in some capacity for almost all of our clients, and whether they know it's Kartra or not, just because with the flexibility for opting in and sending out broadcasts, selling products and things like that, it's very, very robust in that way. It's a software as a service, so the good thing about that, and also the possible problem with it, is Kartra is responsible for all of the security and all of the backup. And so because if one Kartra account fails, they all fail. So I've had discussions with them about both security and backup, and they put a lot of effort into it. And as far as in the 5 years, it's really, I think he had some serious issues one day in those, like say, 5 years. Couple of little glitches here, but you're putting it in the context of, I think Amazon and Facebook and most of the internet have gone down at some points. If there's a global disruption with all internet, then everything's gone down. Relative to WordPress, which for one, you're at the mercy of how good your hosting service is, and you're also at the mercy of your account is your account. You need to be backing it up and um, and doing it yourself. And I've had many issues with that, so I don't lose any sleep over it with Kartra. Okay. Yeah, Burke says I appreciate. I can put the. Yeah, can I? Okay, yeah, thank you, Burke. Yes, again with the integrations and the API, like if you need to do anything more than Kartra does, and some people do, some people live complicated lives. And anyway, thank you very much, Burke. And yeah, and let's talk some more. So anyway, happy Saturday. Enjoy your day. And with that, I'm going to end the broadcast. And the replay is available. I think probably if you registered through StreamYard, you're going to get a copy of the replay, and it's also on YouTube. Thank you. Happy Saturday.